Hello and welcome to the Last Looks podcast, a show where we catch up with talented hairstylists and makeup artists in the film and television industry. We'll pick their super creative brains and find out all the good stuff. Join me, your host, Jamie Lee, in finding out what's what in the hair and makeup departments around the world.
And now, a word from our sponsor.
Welcome back to the podcast, Sammy.
Thanks, Jamie Lee. I'm so happy to be back.
Now, last week we were chatting about some of the Hask must-haves for a stylist set bag. What other goodies are we chatting about today?
So the other must-have products for our hairstylists, they're the one and only Hask Shine Oils, which offer 3 lightweight, alcohol-free options to choose from.
Oh, for sure. You got to keep that hair looking alive on screen.
Yes, couldn't agree more. First up is our Argan Repairing Hair Oil, which strengthens and restores. If frizzy, damaged hairs you frazzled, then look no further. Hask Argan Oil from Morocco Repairing Shine Oil will 100% come to the rescue. It instantly provides frizz-free shine without leaving any oily residue. Thank God, right? I mean, who wants oily hair? Argan oil is rich in essential fatty acids and penetrates hair to restore shine and provide soft, silky results in dry and damaged hair. So next we have Keratin Protein Smoothing Hair Oil, which smooths, softens, and reduces frizz. We like to say that this product gives damaged, over-processed hair the boot with a miracle makeover. So it's infused with hydrolyzed keratin to smooth and reduce frizz, leaving you with soft, smooth, and incredibly shiny locks. Last but not least is our Manoi Coconut Oil Nourishing Hair Oil, which moisturizes and revitalizes. And this is made with pure coconut oil. Yum. So Manoi oil is native to Tahiti and known for its rehydrating and softening qualities, also for leaving your hair nourished, moisturized, and revived. And this one's great for any hair type. All of these oils can be used on wet or dry hair for best results.
I love how many options I have when using Hask, and now I know more about what they all do. It's great.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the many awesome things about the brand. Not only are there so many choices, but you don't have to be married to just one.
Thanks again to you and Hask for joining us on the Last Looks podcast, Sammy. We love having you.
Jamie Lee, it was such a pleasure being here. And let me leave you and your listeners in the trade industry with this. The Hask brand welcomes the opportunity to continue building our relationship with television and film styling community. If we can support a project you're working on, feel free to send us an email at hask@stonemanagement.net, and we'd be more than happy to help.
Amazing, Sammy. Thank you.
No, thank you. I could be here all day.
And now, our feature presentation.
Today, I'm speaking with makeup artist Louie Zakarian and hairstylist Jodi Mancuso. Together, these two do what seems to be the impossible and smash out amazing work every week on Saturday Night Live. We chat about what a normal working week is like for them, how they do what they do, and why they love it.
Pictures up. Last looks. Rolling. And action.
Welcome to the Last Looks podcast, guys.
Hi.
Hi, how's it going?
Good. Hey, now, Louie, you're a makeup artist, and Jodi, you're a hairstylist, and together you run the makeup and hair departments on Saturday Night Live. Now, let's start with how and when that all started for you guys, the Snl Journey.
Louie, you go first.
Well, let's see. My SNL journey started around 25 years ago.
Wow.
Quite a while ago. I was trying to get on SNL for years and years and was harassing and sending in resumes, calling once a month, and finally got my opportunity to go in and work on the show for a day. And then the following week, I got to go in and I did a pre-tape. Which was oddly enough, I did a pre-tape on the 1995 season finale. And one of the actors that was supposed to be there didn't show up. And the director at the time, Jim Signorelli, was like, "You're about the right age group. Here, read this page of dialogue, memorize it, and we're going to shoot you in it." So now it's now it's my second day there. I don't know anybody, and I did this dialogue. I'm like, okay, they're going to cut me out of it. I'll be in there 1 second. So Saturday night rolls around. I'm setting up my makeup station, and the monologue starts, and who should pop up in the middle of the monologue with like a good amount of dialogue, and every makeup and hair person in that room just shot me like daggers. I'm there 2 days and I'm already on camera with dialogue, and that was my start there, and I've been there ever since.
It's amazing. So they're just like, who's this new guy? What's he doing?
Yeah, it was like I didn't know where the heck I was, what I was doing, and meanwhile I'm on camera talking and in the monologue, which I know isn't going to get cut. So I was like, holy smokes.
So that's pretty amazing, having that goal of wanting to get into Saturday Night Live and then actually making it happen. That's awesome.
Yeah, and like the biggest thing for me was being at NBC. Like I've wanted to work at NBC at SNL because that's where Dick Smith created the makeup lab, and Dick Smith started years and years and years ago. And to now be a part of it and curating all the makeup lab and makeup effects in that building is pretty amazing.
Yeah, that's very cool. So what about you, Jodi?
I started 2002, mid-season, and I had children, so I was looking for just part-time. So a friend of mine was working there, and he said, oh, yeah, Saturdays we need people. And I was like, oh, that's perfect, having little kids.
Yeah.
And I just started on Saturdays, and here I am.
However many years later, and you're still
and there we are, and I work more than Saturday.
So I'm assuming just over the years, you guys both just kind of, I don't know, how does it work? Just eventually, if you stay there long enough, you end up climbing up to be department head? Like how did that work for you both?
Well, I was there. I started in 95. I was the key when I started in 95, the 95-96 season. And then after being the key for 2 seasons, I've been the department head ever since.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So yeah, it was kind of thrust upon me, which was pretty amazing, and it's been kind of nuts ever since.
Yeah, for me, I always had a cast member and did Saturdays, helped during the week, prep as well when they style wigs during the week. Clarice, who was the head at the time, left to do 30 Rock.
Okay.
So somebody else took over, and at that point, I was the third, and then the second. And then she left to do Seth, the new head at the time. And then they asked me to become head.
Okay, cool. So it's just the gradual progression. And yeah, that's amazing. So for those of us, I mean, I feel like I don't know if anyone's really worked on anything like that show before. So talk us through what a normal week is like for you both, like from start to finish. How does it all work?
You want to start, Jodi?
Yeah, I think the process from us is we start on Tuesday. So Tuesday that's when we do our strike from the week before. We have our promos and we do our ordering.
Okay.
Wednesday, we have our read through, our picks, and our design meeting.
Okay.
Thursday and Friday is styling, and Friday obviously is our pre-tapes. And Saturday is our show. We have a rehearsal as well on Saturday.
Okay. I was going to say, do you get to test everything?
No, we don't really get to we barely test anything. It's usually just get plopped on them for like Saturday morning, and then dress rehearsals our first test. And the makeup side is pretty much the same thing. Tuesday we start with the promos, Wednesday is the table read, but like Thursdays and Fridays are the only 2 days we have to build anything and prep anything. Like if we've got to build any major prosthetic pieces or build anything crazy, it gets built in those 2 days. And sometimes it's built in one night because they'll add it into a pre-tape. And it's the same with Jodi, I think. Like if they've got to have a wig ready, and they've got either 24 hours or 48 hours to have it ready for the show.
Wow.
Yeah.
And then so how does the actual show, like how does Saturday work?
By the grace of God.
Yeah. A lot of changes as the day progresses. Like we come in the morning and we see we'll get a schedule of what the show looks like on Thursday. But by Saturday, that can be out the door. Like you could look at the schedule on Thursday and go, oh, okay, well, there's 10 minutes to get somebody from one makeup or one look to another look. And then you come in on Saturday, they'll rejumble the whole thing. You're like, oh, well, my 10 minutes became 2 minutes,
Oh, wow.
So there's no real way to plan out what your Saturday is going to look like till you get in on Saturday morning most of the time.
And then is it kind of locked in by the time Saturday has come, or...
No.
Okay, so you can do the rehearsal and they're like, we're going to change this?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think for us, when we come down Wednesday, we have our design meeting with our room after we do one hair, makeup, and wardrobe. And I think, as Louie will probably say, we focus mostly on the pre-tapes because we only have a day. They could be a lot. So Friday is usually when we can even focus on our Saturday show. And we don't have a cold open by then usually.
Yeah. Usually we don't find out the cold open. There are many a time we don't find out the cold open until Friday night, late Friday night. And then even sometimes they'll change it on us. We'll have a cold open and we come in on Saturday morning and it'll be a different cold open.
Yeah.
You could go to sleep on Friday night thinking, okay, I've got everything ready. I've got Trump is ready, Mitch McConnell's ready, and then you come in on Saturday morning and they added a bunch of different characters and changed the whole thing, and you got to start from scratch Saturday morning to be ready by Saturday at 8:00.
Totally. And lately our cold opens have been not even blocked Friday night. We have a half a script. Maybe kind of know who's in it. There's just so much breaking news and Colin is a big person who writes our cold opens, and he's writing them all through the night. So Saturday morning we'll come in and that's when we can start styling the wigs or even find out who might be a guest star.
Yeah, we've had guests come in on Saturday morning and go like, okay, we'll figure out what we're going to do to them.
Yeah.
Then the other thing is too, like between dress and air, like we do an dress rehearsal show at 8:00 and then the live show is at 11:30. There's an hour between dress and air where it could all be jumbled and changed and the order gets changed and just got to be ready to roll with the punches.
Yeah, I mean, your brain's got to be switched on, huh?
Yeah.
So how long is that day then on Saturday?
It all depends.
Yeah. Depends on how much we get, how big of a show it is. Usually for me, it's like from 10 a.m. till 1:30 in the morning.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, our rehearsal starts at usually 1 p.m. So we could be in any time before that. A lot of times we'll come in at noon in my department and we'll just work while we're doing the rehearsal.
That's amazing. So do you have team members who will purely just be prepping on that Saturday, like that Friday and Saturday for you?
There's 6 of us, main people. And then I do send out 3 of them on the pre-tapes and they'll hire extra crew to help them.
Okay.
But they're the heads to watch it. And then I'll hire extra people in the room to help me, maybe a couple of people. And then Saturday, we have hair people that come in. Every cast member has a hair person to run their show.
Wow.
And it's pretty much the same with the makeup side. Like, it's during the week, it's 4 or 5 of us. During the week, 3 people in the lab and 1 or 2 people out on the floor. And then we've got the pre-tapes that go out. And then on Saturday, there's a quarter of my team comes in early so we can prep and be ready for Saturday night. And then at 5 o'clock, 5:30, the rest of the team shows up and gets ready for the actual show.
Wow. So with all these last minute additions that can possibly happen and do happen, do you guys have just a stock of appliances and hair pieces and wigs and things kind of just ready to go?
Absolutely. Yes. Yeah. I have thousands of wigs in stock. And we have a wig shop that's building for us.
We have the same with facial hair, but with prosthetics, because of the fact that it's a live show, we rarely use generic pieces because it's got to go on so fast. So we'll try and custom build everything in the 2 days or 1 day that we usually get.
Yeah. And how what are the deciding factors on whether you actually go for appliances or wigs and things like that? Is that just in that discussion meetings with writers and when you get the script and things like that? Or time? I mean...
Yeah, on Wednesday night we'll have the production meeting with the writers and the design and the me, Jodi, and the wardrobe designers. We all sit around and we'll go over how much they want to look and look like them, what they want, what they're expecting. Because one of the things Lauren doesn't like makeup-wise, I know, is big, heavy prosthetics to cover somebody. So, it's just going over what we can get away with to make them look as much like them as possible.
Without losing who's playing it.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Still have them coming through. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
awesome.
because it's supposed to be comedy, and we don't want to change that premise of this person. I mean, we could probably make people look exactly, but he wants it's all in fun, and
you still want to see that cast member. You don't want to lose that cast member.
Yeah, absolutely. Don't want to go stick a whole mask on them and be like, who is playing that?
Exactly.
And the other side of it is you can glue all that stuff on them, but then sometimes you've got to get that all off in 5 minutes or 2 minutes, and so you got to take that into consideration as well.
Yeah, I imagine the caster, they must just really work with you guys as a team to help you get it all on and get it all off. And I mean, it must just be a race.
Yeah, they're great.
They're great. They just stand still and let us do our thing, because once they get involved, we're in trouble.
We're constantly saying I'm sorry as we're ripping something off.
Sorry.
A lot of I'm sorries, and you can hit me later.
But I guess they're feeling that time crunch too, aren't they? So.
Totally.
Oh, yeah.
Thank God they're running on adrenaline, because sometimes I feel so bad.
Well, because sometimes also with all the changes that they've got, sometimes they haven't even seen the script till they get out there and read their cue cards for the first time. So they're nervous about, because it's constantly changed. That's why they would constantly get Bill Hader whenever he did Stefan that way, because they would rehearse it one way and then the cue cards would write something. They would go and Mulaney would write something else on the cue cards, and then he's seeing it for the first time.
That's amazing. So, I mean, have there been times that, oh gosh, it must take some getting used to when you first start to just be just tools down, just stop, they've got to go.
Yeah, I mean, it's something you can't explain, even if you have new people come in, because it's everything in one. So it's like Broadway and television. Then we have, our pre-tapes that are like, movies, and you're like, all right, we just got to be quick. And they're like, yeah. And you're like, no.
No.
It's all got to be HD quality too, because it's all HD. So you can't, take any shortcuts. And there's many a night where they're counting down 3, 2, 1, and Jodi and I are just stepping back from off the set as the cameras start to go, because we had to get that last 2 seconds of tweaking in there.
I was going to say, how close does it get? I was wondering if you actually make it onto the set and are there until it's like 3, 2, 1. Okay, out of frame.
Yeah, there's a lot of that. I've gotten caught. I got caught in the middle of hiding in the back of a flat one time during this sketch, because I was there tweaking something and couldn't get out, so I got stuck just last season on the set. So I had to sit there through the whole thing.
That's amazing. You're just sitting there like, oh God.
Yeah, oh God, I'm stuck here. And in my mind, I'm like, oh, I got to get back there because I got another change that's got to go. And as soon as the camera cuts, I'm running.
We've had stage managers physically, well, I know for me, like pick me up and actually move me.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh no.
It gets bad sometimes.
You've just got that tunnel vision of like, I've got to get this done. I've got to get this done.
My God.
It's going to be on our tombstones if I only had a couple more seconds.
It's so funny that yours is a couple more seconds, whereas most people's is, if I only just had 10 more minutes.
I know. And it's like, we laugh sometimes, but we're just like, if people even understood. And also that whole thing that we don't have camera tests. So everything is like to the eye and just, things you've learned over the years.
Yeah.
First time you see it is when there's an audience out there watching it and it's on camera, because you really don't know.
Yeah.
Wow.
And the only tweak you can do is the hour you have between dress and air, which doesn't really give you much time to tweak anything.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there must be times that you're just kind of, as you say, that 3, 2, 1, you've stepped away and then you're walking towards getting your next situation sorted out, just going, oh,
Oh, it's so
How does that even
frustrating.
look?
Yeah.
I've got no idea.
Yeah. I think for us, I know I could speak for me. The HD thing is just like, why?
Yeah.
Like, what? There's no reason for it. I like the illusion.
Yeah, so let's stay away from the 4K. I don't need that.
I
that
don't
much.
get it. Yeah.
I personally don't think it's needed for a lot of things that we watch.
It makes
I'm
no
just
sense.
I don't want to be able to tell that it's a set or that I can see where the lighting is coming from, it's all too much.
I can live without seeing everybody's pores. I'm good.
Yeah. So the lace and everything can be a problem, but who's watching it has to understand that it really is live. That wig went on in 30 seconds.
Yeah.
It's sometimes
so you're going to see lace. There's no corrections. It is what you see is exactly what's happening.
I know, it's amazing. It's incredible. You must have really had to work on your, I don't know, just finding your happy place.
Yeah, you have to let it go.
The favorite question is, when did they shoot that? I'm like, no, it's live. It's still live. We don't shoot it.
It must be nice, though, that you do get to pre-shoot some stuff so you can, take a moment to... Or is that still just madness?
Even that is madness because, if you're going to pre-tape it on a Friday, they still have to come back and rehearse. They don't have all day, so they only have a few hours in the morning to shoot an entire sketch. So, they'll have 5 hours, 6 hours to shoot an entire 5-minute sketch.
Yeah.
So it's time is a crunch there too. So on Saturday you'll have 10 minutes. On a Friday you'll maybe have 15 or 20.
And you can't even edit that. We can't.
Yeah.
I don't think I've maybe once asked if they could color correct something, and it was only because what was it? I think it was a Verizon commercial or Sprint. So they popped it with the yellow or red or something, and it changed the color of the wigs.
Oh wow. But
they're editing Saturday. Sometimes it's not even ready for our dress audience.
Yeah, there was a few years back where we did a Star Wars thing that they didn't actually have it finished and ready, and it wasn't even 100% ready by Saturday night. They were still editing and doing stuff to it, and it still wasn't even ready. So
it's just mayhem across the board, isn't it? Every department is just insanity.
Yep. They build those big sets in 2 days. There's 14 different sets that they build. There's a lot going on in 2 days.
That's amazing. So when you were talking about that you have your meeting with you guys in costume, who are you getting, I guess, instruction from above you guys? Are you speaking directly to writers or
The writers and the cast, they come around and we'll ask each individual, if Kate's going to play somebody, we'll ask her how much she wants or what she's looking for. And a lot of times they have ideas of what they want for their characters too.
Okay.
Yeah, it works differently. It's not like that thing where you sit down with the director. The director has nothing to do with it. He doesn't want to.
He's got his own vision.
He has enough problems.
Yeah.
But a lot of our cast are the writers as well. And then there's writers, and then they have little partnerships. So the cast member, if their sketch gets picked, then they come in and they go through the characters with us, and we sit as individuals and make the decisions together. And then on Saturday, that's when, Mr. Michaels will say, I don't like this. Can we fix this? And that's what me and Louie are changing.
Yeah.
Okay.
And they usually have they have a lot of faith in us. They'll let us play around and they'll give us their ideas and say, we trust you, go do what you do best, and they'll let us do what we have to do. And then Saturday comes around and we got to make a couple of changes, but it's all good.
Yep. Or a whole sketch disappears. That's fantastic.
Oh, yeah.
We don't get attached.
The biggest thing is you work 2 days. We've built full suits, full War Machine suits and full Shape of Water suits. And on Saturday it gets cut. So
wow,
we'll have worked 48 hours straight. And then it'll look good in the shop.
I honestly feel like you guys should do some type of mentoring for learning how to let it go.
Yeah.
We are not attached. We would be so sad if we were attached.
My first few years there, I would get heartbroken when they would cut something, and now I'm just like,
It's gone.
it'll look cool in the shop.
And I can average from 60, no less than 60 to, I don't know, it could be 100 wigs a week.
Oh my goodness.
Or hairstyles. Like, people don't realize it, but there is a lot.
Yeah.
So I imagine your organizational skills of how your wigs have been organized, is that just down?
Oh,
You've got
yes.
that sorted,
Yes.
you know where is what and what is where?
Yes. We have to be extremely organized because everything is last minute. You don't have time. And, and even with that, we can't find things sometimes. And you just make it work.
Oh, yeah.
So when you said, Jodi, that you have wig makers with you, are they doing stuff from scratch, or are they mainly kind of customizing store-bought stuff?
No, we build from scratch. We can do that as well. We have a shop at NBC, and they also build for Seth and Fallon.
They build our facial hair as well.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So, we use them for all our new builds. If I need to refront something, we use them for everything. Whatever I need them to build, they'll build for me for Saturday.
Wow, that's amazing.
And they don't get the order until Wednesday night.
Because we don't know what the show looks like.
Yeah. So it's pretty amazing.
Must be like the fastest ventilators on the planet.
Amazing.
So how many people are in there doing that?
It all depends on the week.
Okay.
But,
so they'll bring people in if they need. Yeah.
Yes. And they split the wig. So someone will build the front, someone will build the back, because there's not enough time one person to build.
Yeah. Wow, that's incredible. And then the fact that you hold on to everything for that just in case.
Oh, yeah.
Moment.
We have everything. Because we have a lot of repeats as well. So we're able to pull those wigs.
Yeah. That must be nice to have those characters within everything else that you're doing, that you're like, yeah, we know this. We know how to do it. It's easy.
Yeah.
Just smash it out.
And, there's people you don't realize, like Louie and I will collaborate on a look. I'll give you an example. Trump. Alec as Trump. Now, we really thought that was going to be short-lived. So we kept it real simple because Alec likes to be in and out. Mm-hmm. And in retrospect, we probably would have put a ball cap on him
right,
because he has a full head of hair. And, we figured, Louie, 2-3 times he would.
Yeah, we figured a couple of times he wasn't going to get elected. We'll be in, we'll be out.
This would be in and out. I mean, Alec for sure thought that was what was going to happen.
Yeah, we all did.
And then we already set that look. And we were like, damn, because I would really love to go really thin with the wig, but I have to, cover his hair.
We can't really, once we establish a character, we don't really go in and change it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Too
and funny. Why is that? Just because it is established and that's that?
We can change things, but it also depends on the guest. Somebody like Alec wants to be in and out quick. Don't you agree, Louie?
Yeah, he does. That's one of the things about the show is that most people they're in, they're out as fast as they can possibly be.
Right.
They don't want to be sitting there for 2 hours or an hour to put a bald cap on, especially if he just came in he's just there for one sketch.
Right.
Okay. So you can at times just experience a little resistance and trying to come to a compromise of.
They usually don't resist. They're just, you can kind of feel them out.
Yeah.
Like when De Niro was Mueller, he was fine with whatever we had to do for him to put the prosthetics on and put all everything on. They're usually pretty good about it. Mm-hmm. But like with Alec, it's something that he ended up having to do for 4 years now. So it's probably better we didn't torture him for 4 years.
Yeah. I mean, I would say Louie and I put him in that in like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, that's his limit.
Yeah. I guess so. Yeah. If you did it that way the first 3 or 4 times, then why can't you continue doing it that
Well,
way? Yeah.
Louie and I have learned that many times.
We've burned ourselves in the past because, like, we try and I know when I'm trying to design a makeup, I try and keep it to something that'll take like maybe 20 minutes, 15, 20 minutes to apply because we want to. You never know. And when Melissa McCarthy was Spicer, we kind of made the makeup in the hair so it'll take about 15 to 20 minutes, but none of us took into consideration when she would host the show later on in the season and play Sean Spicer. So
Right.
that 15 to 20 minute makeup had to go on, and the hair and everything had to go on in a 3-minute span.
I forgot about that.
You mean when you say 3 minutes, you literally mean 3 minutes?
Well, let me preface that by
You
3 minutes.
walk.
That's 3 minutes with her dry heaving because the sketch before she was getting smashed in the face with shaving cream pies. So while we're gluing on a bald cap and gluing on a wig, she's dry heaving because she was just eating a bunch of shaving cream in the sketch before. So
Oh my God.
yeah, we kind
And
of
because she was so full of shaving cream, she had to go back to her dressing room to do this change.
Yeah.
Because she had to clean her face. So it's 3 minutes from the stage to her room to back to the set.
It was a total of 6 minutes, I think, on that one. Which the 3 minutes was for her to get cleaned up, and it was 3 minutes from the time she sat down to the time she had to be back on the floor.
That's right. It's a minute of heaving.
So who is keeping time? Do you just have someone constantly next to you? You guys wearing radios? What is
Donna, who's the one of the dresser that takes care of the host?
Mm-hmm.
She's usually sitting there. Donna Richards. She's usually on top of us with, okay, you got 1 minute. And usually at about a minute, Jenna, the stage manager, will run in and say, okay, there's 1 minute. We got to go.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. And I guess, with you saying that they've got to walk, I mean, I'm sure you're hoping they're walking quickly.
We're walking backwards and still gluing and painting and touching things up as we're walking backwards.
Oh my goodness.
Well, now that you say 6 minutes, I'm like, God, that was long.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it all just feels it's giving me anxiety just talking to you.
You would love it. It's so awesome.
It's pretty amazing. I mean, what a challenge every week. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, that's why we're still there.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's what keeps you going back. Is that just that challenge and enjoying?
It's an adrenaline rush,
Yeah.
It's if you're an adrenaline junkie, you got it right there.
Wow.
It's like it's creatively, it's the most fulfilling. There's nothing like it. Obviously Louie and I do a lot of outside stuff, but to me, I almost go crazy. It's too slow.
Oh yeah.
I don't want that many decisions. I don't really care about the camera tests.
There's too many cooks. It's like let us do our thing, and it'll work out great. And that's what's great about SNL is they let us do our thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think through having that, that somebody has that confidence in you, it gives you the confidence yourself to just be like, yeah, we got this, let's do it.
The beauty of it is that it's taught us to really learn our skill really well. I mean, obviously we can keep learning, but there's a lot of stuff that I can look at something and I know already what it's going to look like out on camera.
Right.
And you can only learn that because of how we've had to work over these 20 years.
Yeah. And the other great thing is it's also immediate gratification. Like when you work on a TV show or a movie, you shoot it and then you don't get to see it till weeks or months later.
Yeah.
This, we do it, we see it right then and there. Okay, we've done it. Now let's move on to the next one.
Yep.
Okay. So, I mean, is there times where you watch the show after you finish work, like on a Sunday or something, to just double check, like, how did that read or anything like that? Because I imagine you don't really have time to be fully watching it at the time if you've got to go get somebody
at
else
the time,
ready.
I think it's just a blur. We'll look up, we'll see a sketch or something we're worried about, and then we have to keep going.
Yeah, you're constantly moving. Like you look up and look at the sketch, just look at the monitor, see if everything is in place and it hasn't fallen off since the last you looked at it, and
Yeah.
then you go on to your next change. And then usually like the next week or on Sunday, I'll look at this, watch this show or zip through it and check on some things that I had questions about.
Yeah, I think in the beginning, I watched every Sunday, but now I don't. Or like what Louie saying, if I remember not being sure about something or I want to do better, I'll watch it.
Right.
But I found for myself, if I go back like months and then look, so I'm a little disconnected from it, I see it through a different eye. And I'm usually really hard on myself.
Yeah, as are we all. Yeah. Like, I wish I would have done this, or next time I'll do that.
It's just really difficult in that time period, and you know what you can do, you just don't have the time.
Yeah. I mean, you might have also forgotten like what kind of specific crunch you were under at that moment and why it ended up the way it did.
Right.
Yeah.
But you see it, I guess, in my head, I'm like, oh, that's how people that don't work there see it. And you're like, oh, because people don't understand. Even example for Louie with prosthetics, people usually have hours to put them on and build them. To watch Louie work so quickly, and he's manipulated formulas to get them on and off, and it may not always be a perfect crease, but you're like, this guy got this on in a minute.
Yeah, it is a challenge.
It's so unbelievable. And
the dance, like the way we work, I call it it's a delicate dance how we work, like between the hair and the makeup department. Like we're just hovering around each other and getting it done. I have friends that come in from out of town, from LA, and they just want to hang out in the makeup room and just watch that dance of how things get done.
Yeah.
It's just, we're just hovering around. Like
quite frankly, there should be like a live feed for us to watch you.
The show is really happening where me and Louie are.
Yeah, I mean, I would absolutely be watching that. All different camera angles, absolutely.
Crazy. And there is no this is my union, that's your union, or that don't touch that. I'm literally gluing with him, and he's pinning to me, and it's just like, let's just get this damn thing on the head.
That's the only way that the show happens. Like we can't be like, oh, that's a wig, I can't touch that. I'm like, well, here, I'll hold this, you glue that. It's teamwork. That's the only way it happens. We're sometimes pulling up somebody's pair of pants. It all got to get done.
Yeah, we're a really great team.
I love it. Yeah, I don't think there's any room for, oh no, that's not my department.
Oh, no. Thank you.
I mean, that just goes to show that goes right through to your first couple of days, Louie. I mean, wasn't your department to be getting on camera and doing lines?
Yeah.
But everyone's got to pull their weight.
Everyone's got to do their thing, I had to suffer through it.
That's amazing. So, I mean, because of the need for such a quick turnaround, and as you're just saying that Louie's come up with different techniques and tricks and all these things for speed and efficiency. So can you talk us through a couple of things that you have learned, just wig-wise, makeup-wise, just what?
Well, I think for us, everything is temporary. So, if you're doing a movie and you're building a wig, and not to say we don't do this, but we'll dye it and, maybe perm it. But with us, we have to keep reusing. So if I need a highlight, I'll just sew wefting in.
Yeah.
And everything is manipulated because some of these wigs we use, the casts all have their own wigs. So a lot of their stuff is reoccurring characters. So we can't alter that wig, but we might need that specific wig because it's a perfect color for somebody else, but it's too short.
Right.
So we'll add long wefting and just cheat it so we can all take it out.
Yeah.
And I think we're just not married to anything because it can go away. That was something really hard to learn. But it's just about making it work.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think everybody in this industry slowly learns that, but you guys have had to learn it quickly, hard and fast, and absolutely.
Yeah. And one of the other saving graces we have is like, on a Saturday night, it doesn't have to stay on for 10 hours. You know, it's got to go on for a few minutes. So when we're gluing on a prosthetic or gluing something on, I don't have to glue every square inch of that down. And it doesn't have to be so secure. It only has to last for 20 minutes, 30 minutes tops. And, you know, we've learned where we can glue, where we can't glue, what kind of, you know, how we can put on a makeup and be able to take it off and remove it so fast that we can put the next one on without leaving greasy smears all over everybody's face.
Right.
It's true.
And then do you fully glue down the lace, Jodi, on your wig?
Just on the temples, not around the whole thing.
Yeah.
Everything is quick, and you don't want to destroy their skin. You know, you're ripping these things on and off for 2 shows, and it takes a beating.
Yeah, and sometimes, you know, they're like taking a beard on and off constantly, or a mustache, it beats up their face. So you gotta, and sometimes you don't have the delicacy of removing it nice and slowly. Sometimes you gotta just get in there physically and rip.
Yeah,
You don't have the time.
Yeah, we have to use alcohol because nothing can have oil in it because the next wig won't stick.
Absolutely. Wow. That's so amazing. So also with your hair prep underneath the wigs, Jodi, what?
We do it quick.
Yeah.
Yeah. That I know, like in certain places, they'll even do, you know, those crazy preps. But quite honestly, over the years, I've learned that it's really not extremely necessary. I mean, maybe depending on what you're doing, but for the most part, if a wig is built well, it will look real. I mean, most of our cast have self wigs, and most people don't even know.
Right.
They think it's their hair. We use their own hair in some sketches, so it has to come down quick.
Can't be full of all sorts of gel and whatnot.
Right. And a host will never have a prep. We twist it up and a couple of pins, and that's it.
Yeah.
Even when we do a bald cap, we can't put like gaff quad or anything to really slip it down. It's just got a little bit of water underneath there and put the bald cap on, and so that when they come out of it, they can have their own hair back to normal.
Right.
Yeah,
and again, they don't, like we said, they don't have to be on set for hours.
Yeah, so it doesn't have to be built to last. So how many people do you generally have working on one person at a time? I mean, obviously you guys are doing hair and makeup at the same time, right?
Yeah, they have one of each.
Yeah,
Right.
but it also depends. Like if they're doing a bald cap, sometimes if there's a bald cap or a prosthetic, there'll be between 2 and 4 people working at the same time.
Right.
On that, you know, but then like if there's a major change, there'll be 2 makeup and 2 hair sometimes, just putting something on and taking something
To
off.
help with timing,
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
So, I mean, do you ever have people just freak out, like hosts that come in that need to get this done and haven't had that many hands on them and been rushed that much before? Are they just like, just get off me? Or are they all pretty good?
Usually they're pretty good. They if they let us do our thing, they you know they survive pretty well.
Yeah.
You know, it's just they know what they're getting into kind of when they come to us, because it's they realize it as they may not know it when they get there, but by Saturday night they're like, oh, okay, yeah, I got you.
Yeah. And even with that, they're not sure. They think, a lot of them think they know.
Okay. Until you've experienced it.
Yeah. And they'll even have their personal, and they think they know.
Yeah.
And you're like, no. But, you know, you'll say it's quick, and they're like, yeah. And, you know, but we have these hair pieces and these weftings we have to put in, and you're like, if you can do that in 30 seconds, no problem.
Yeah.
But after the first show, I think they're trying to concentrate on so many different things. They're reading cue cards. They're trying to hit their mark. All the changes. I think us touching them is the last thing they're thinking about.
Here's the other thing, too, you got to remember. Sometimes they don't have time to go back to a makeup room or a dressing room. Sometimes they're just on the other side of this, in the dark, on the other side of a flat, standing up, and they're getting changed, and they're getting their wigs put on, and they're getting their makeup changed, and then they've got to go back around that thing in 2 minutes. So sometimes you're doing everything in the dark with a little bite light in your mouth or something, and they're just, you know, you don't have the comfort of sitting down in a chair to get your change done.
Right.
Wow.
And the only time their personals deal with them is just when, like, for the monologue.
Right.
You know, can be for them.
Yeah.
You know.
Okay. I was just wondering if is that sometimes something that you need to take care of as well, though?
Not every host brings a makeup and hair person with them. Some will bring somebody, some will not bring somebody. And if they don't bring somebody, we take care of them. If they bring, but even then, if they brought somebody, we still do all of the character changes and all the every other change. Their personal just does them for the monologue and for the band intros.
Right.
And then are you guys having to take care of the band as well, or musical act?
We have extra hair people on Saturday that will. Oh, you mean them? I thought you meant SNL band.
Like the guest band. Sometimes, like if they have a big band and they need a little extra help, that we'll do some stuff. But usually they're pretty self-sufficient.
Yeah,
that's awesome. So, Louie, I was just going to ask in the makeup world, from the shift from using like foam pieces and now more silicone and transfer kind of prosthetics, has that helped or hindered the turnaround of your process?
It's kind of helped. We still go back and forth. We go between foam and silicone quite a bit.
Okay.
But we can't use transfers at all because it just takes too long to take them off.
Yeah.
Yeah, transfers just don't. We tried for a little bit, and I was like, ugh, this is never going to work. It takes too darn long. But silicone really has helped in the application because we can pre-paint it and just burn an edge sometimes and just go, especially with the high HD technology and also the turnaround time. Whereas in the past, if you ran a foam piece, you'd have to cook it for 4 hours and then hopefully you got a piece. With silicone pieces, we can, within an hour or two, know if we've got a piece and just keep busting pieces out.
Nice.
It sped things up a little bit. And it also makes it go down a lot, especially with the HD TV. It makes things a lot easier to apply, a lot smoother.
So when are you still using foam pieces?
We still do sometimes, like on bigger pieces, like if it's a big head piece or like an alien piece, we'll use a foam piece. But if it's smaller, subtler appliances, but then we bounce back and forth. It depends on what the situation is.
What the character is.
Yeah,
absolutely. What attributes do you think are necessary to do what you guys do?
I know one of the biggest attributes is just calm demeanor, not get frazzled by things. If you get frazzled easily, it's not the place for you.
Oh my God, could you imagine?
Yeah.
Constantly stressing out.
You got to be able to roll with the punches, not be married to anything. Like, there have been times where I've hired people and, usually when I hire people, I'm like, I'll try you out for a week or two, see how because some people can't deal with the stress of it. Mm-hmm. As much as they want to be on the show, it's very stressful. It can... if you need your everything organized and this here, that there, and you've got this amount of time, it's not the place for you.
Yeah. Absolutely. Same with me. I mean, I need people who are, they have wig experience and lace front, and that's a hard thing to come by, believe it or not. I think a lot of people think they do know wigs, but in the detail, like they need to understand how a wig works, how it's built, because there's certain things I have to rely on if you need to fix. Yeah. There's 20 hairdressers that I'm juggling on a Saturday. So, and all the wigs are done for them, but I need people that have an eye, that are very calm. And I guess, if we say something, it's not personal. It's just, we need to get this done, and it's a team, and it's, you just can't take things to heart, and things can just go away too. And you don't want to see people too upset and taking it personally because we don't have time to, pat you back because we're live in 10 minutes. Yeah.
One of the other things too, in my end of it is I try and find, like when I'm looking for people, like there's beauty aspect of SNL, and there's the prosthetic character aspect of SNL, and all of the people that I have on my team that are mostly beauty can put a mustache on, do a little bit of prosthetic, do a little bit of character stuff, and all the prosthetic people can do a little bit of beauty, do a little bit of character. So being able to know a little bit of both is really a great thing, because sometimes a character has to have a mustache, and if their makeup artist doesn't know how to put on a mustache, then that's another person taking from somewhere else. So everybody's got to know a little bit about everything.
Yeah, I guess be confident in it so you can do it fast and efficiently, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's amazing. I don't understand why you guys aren't awarded medals like every Saturday. You have completed the race. There you go. You win a prize. It's so amazing. It blows my mind. I'm just gonna go back for a little second there and ask Jodi, are you tall? Because I'm just thinking of someone standing side of and you're trying to put a wig on and they're like 6 foot and you're like,
it's funny you should say that. I'm average. I'm 5'5", but
me too.
we do have somebody who's short. Every now and then she runs the host track, and it is funny to hear her ask for an apple box.
Well, that's the same thing with like Amy, who runs the host track. She's like 5'2", 5'1".
I mean, sometimes you need to,
You've got like Shaquille O'Neal there, and she's trying to put something on him, and it's a funny thing to watch.
I mean, sometimes I'm sure they can kind of come down to that level, do the stance that they do, bend the knees and stuff like that. But there's too much going on. I'm sure that it's just
really good. Yeah. And then, then when you have old cast members come back, that's always funny. Like there was this one time that Will Farrell came back and Louie and I had to do a quick change on him. Louie, do you remember that when you had to put the they were playing?
We had to take the bald cap off of him.
Well, that was another one, but when we had to make him into the California people that got all the
facelift things.
He couldn't stop laughing.
Oh my! As soon as he saw himself
the whole
for 2
thing.
seconds, he was just losing it.
And we had to get this on him. It was
trying to put those lifts on, and then because the wig has to go on after the lifts, so you got to calm down and put the lifts on and make sure those don't pop before the wig go. Oh my gosh!
And he kept laughing, so they kept popping.
you just ready to slap him and go, snap out of it, stop laughing.
And then me and Louie started laughing. We almost missed it. It was a mess, but it was the funniest thing.
It's just so much fun sometimes, though.
Oh, yeah, I imagine. I mean, there is fun within that insanity, I'm sure.
Yeah.
How do you not laugh at it? It's crazy.
You have to laugh at it, otherwise you go crazy.
I remember even one time Fred, I guess he was playing Obama at the time, and he also used to warm up the audience. So some of the crew cast goes out, and they'll sing and warm up the audience before the show starts. And Fred and Maya used to do that. And then he would come off, and we would have to quickly get him ready as Obama. And he was running, and I'm patting the wig with the puff, and I turn around and I see him running, and the puff is stuck to the side of his face. And I'm like, oh no. And I'm like, Fred. And he just turns around. He has no idea. And this thing's flapping. I got to run up to him and grab it. Oh, God.
Yeah.
Nice save, though.
Yes. Almost.
Oh, my goodness. That's amazing. So, I mean, apart from just that constant time crunch, what is the most challenging? I mean, that's the obvious challenge is the time crunch, but what other challenges do you guys come up against?
Getting a look for people, coming up with something that's going to give you the character and not lose the person. Great Mitch McConnell, turning Beck Bennett into Mitch McConnell was pretty crazy, just getting that look just right. And also we found that out on Friday night at midnight that he was going to be Mitch McConnell on Saturday. So
Oh wow.
So Jodi had a night to put a wig together, and I came in at 6 a.m. Saturday morning and sculpted and molded all those pieces and had them ready by 7 o'clock on Saturday night to apply.
Wow.
Yeah, I think sometimes, if it's last minute, even if a guest is coming and we don't know, I think Matt Damon, we didn't know until that day he was going to be in the cold open, and I can only pull from stock. And then if we know if they're going to come back, I'll have something built.
Right.
But we just have to make it happen. And I think that is frustrating. Sometimes we want it to look so much better, but we just don't have the time. We will ask once in a while, can we get a camera test just so for lighting? Because it's different on a live show. The lighting could be very general because it's constantly changing different sets.
Yeah.
So you don't always have the time to say, can you fix that for us? Every now and then I'll be like, I really need that blonde wig not to be pink. If you can help me out, you know. But everybody's doing everything last minute, and you're relying on other departments to help you as well. And that's
teamwork.
It becomes a big family.
That's amazing. Is there an alarm that somebody has?
Oh, I have a volunteer fire department right down the way from me, and I guess
okay.
it'll
Something
go off
going on. Yeah. No, I was just wondering. I was just like, that sounds...
Louie's got to go.
I gotta go. I gotta go.
It's like down the pole. So you said earlier, Jodi, that, you know, like how long does a season run? And you guys do stuff sometimes on your off season?
Or during.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, yeah.
We torture ourselves during.
How does that work?
Well, it depends. I design a lot. So a lot of times I'll design and I'll have, you know, somebody run it. Or I just design the wigs for a lot of shows and then send them off.
Okay.
I used to do Portlandia in the summer with Fred.
Oh, nice.
And now I'm doing the other two with Molly Shannon and our old head writers, Chris and Sarah. So we do a lot of stuff and we just fit it in. And we have weeks off.
Okay.
Like I do a lot of stuff. Like I travel a lot with Paul Simon when I go on tour with him. So there are times where I'll be, it'll be Saturday night, the show ends. I'll get on a plane sometimes Sunday morning, go out to meet them wherever the concert is, and then fly back the next day or 2 days later. And
Okay.
there's a lot of craziness. And then, you know, like whatever movies or stuff comes around, I work with Mike Myers a lot. Mm-hmm. So we did the Gong Show and I designed all that. Went out to LA, set it up, and then had somebody applying everything for him as Tommy Maitland, you know.
Yeah.
It's just a lot of juggling and having people that can, you know, cover you when you can't be there.
Right.
That's amazing. I just have to ask, Louie, how does Paul Simon come into your stratosphere?
It was one of the weirdest things, too, because it was, you know, one of those, like, it was a Lauren favor. Like, Lauren called me to his office this was like 15 years ago, and Paul Simon and Garfunkel were going to open up the Grammy Awards, and Lauren's like, can you go do Paul's makeup and hair? And I was like, but, you know, Lauren, I just do makeup. He's like, you do both, you'll be fine. So I went and I did his makeup, made sure his hair looked okay, and I've been with him ever since for 15 years now. So, I mean, I've done some pretty amazing things with him. I mean, I've gone to India to meet the Dalai Lama. I've gone 1 year, 10th anniversary of 9/11 on Saturday night. I was at Saturday or Sunday night, I was in LA at the Emmy Awards. We won an Emmy Award. I got on a red eye that night to be at Ground Zero the next morning with him. So like, I've had some crazy adventures with the man, but he's amazing to work with.
That's awesome. You guys, you meet so many different people coming through the show. It's amazing.
I think we probably have met everybody.
Yeah. When people ask me who you work with, I'm like, just ask me who I haven't worked with, and then we'll go through that.
Who would you like to work with that you haven't worked with?
Yes, exactly.
Probably narrows it down a little bit easier. That's amazing. So for all of us who have not or do not live in New York and work in that area, I'm always curious when I go and visit, and my husband will be like, oh, we should move here. And I'm like, I cannot think about dragging my kit around the city. How does the average hair and makeup artist kind of get from A to B when they're doing, you know, day playing and all that kind of stuff? Like, is it just a nightmare that we think it is?
Yep.
Or is it not that bad? It is a
You
nightmare.
just drag that kid.
There's never parking wherever you got to go, so you can't. If you drive, you got to pay for your own parking, or you got to find someplace to park. A lot of times there are crew vans, but that's always a nightmare too.
Yeah, it's exactly what you think it is.
Yeah, trying to get around the subway with a big makeup kit or hair kit, and it's.
You definitely learn to downsize, wouldn't you, and just take what you think you really, really need.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think it's when I'm there in the winter that I'm just like, no.
No, you're right.
That's one of the nice things about being in the studio in the wintertime. I have friends that are on set. They're like, I've got my winter gear, my snow boots.
Yeah.
Oh God, I'm sitting in the studio. I'll be good. I'm okay.
Yeah, that's another reason I think we're there. Like our stuff is there. And I mean, I've been doing this so long that I've been on set, I've been in the cold, and I used to do all the digital shorts with Andy Samberg and the boys. And God, I don't miss it.
Yeah.
Now my stuff is in the studio. I don't have to worry about it. I'm like, I'm good.
I mean, it really is just a form of being settled, isn't it? I mean, you've got your work home, and it's how you like it, and you know where everything is, and you can just
Exactly.
It's probably the one easy part about your job.
Yeah.
But it means a lot.
It must be. I was just thinking before when you were saying that that you have all the wigs organized and things like that, and then. But then you might use a wig from one character and use it on somebody else. And I mean, you just must really drum into your team that things have to go back where they came from.
Oh,
I mean, is that
100%? Yes,
a
there
daily
is.
mantra?
Yeah, everything is numbered. Oh, you don't even know. There's a filing system you wouldn't believe. And then a backup one just in case.
Oh my goodness. See, you guys, you should absolutely have a behind the scenes crew following you every Saturday. I would watch that show. I'm so curious about all of these things. It's amazing.
All right, I'll pitch it. I'll let you know.
Do it. Louie's been on camera. He knows how it works.
Well, you have no idea how many sketches they're making in front of us. Oh, it's too funny.
Yeah.
That's so much fun. So going from talking about how you're all set up, got your makeup room, your hair, everything's sorted, you go into work. If I took one tool or product away from you, what would you not want it to be? What do you not want to work without on a daily basis? Though?
My wide tooth comb. Don't touch it.
Don't touch it. Don't touch it. I'll stab you with it.
Thing I use.
That's amazing.
Mine would have to be my Dick Smith adhesive brushes.
Yeah.
They're these little inexpensive brushes that I use all the time, but they're my favorite, and I use them. I go through them like water.
Every day.
Every
That's
day
amazing.
I go through packs of them.
That's very cool. So, and who would you like to hear on the podcast?
I mean, have you guys talked to Rick at all? Rick Baker?
No.
That would be cool.
That would be a cool one to. He's got stories.
Absolutely. I've actually, I'm sure. I've listened to a couple of podcasts actually that he's been on and was fascinated and thoroughly enjoyed them. So absolutely.
I think like everybody that works on our crew probably have something fun to add. Like we talked about, like even Donna Richards, that she's the one that runs the host track. Mm-hmm. Like she gets that host from point to point and we all get out of her way. But it's interesting because it's something you don't see a lot.
Yeah.
So that's kind of fun.
Yeah, she's the one that makes that host get from point A to point B on time.
Yeah.
She calls the times. The stage manager goes to her. Mm-hmm. I mean, she's pushed people out of the way, picked people up and shoved them to get a host.
She's carried coasts from one set to the next because she's got to get them there.
She's pretty phenomenal. She's even needed a new hip.
From bumping people out of the way. Move.
Yeah. And then there's like one of my best friends, Brian Hemiseth. He's a costume designer. He used to do the digital shorts, but now does Sesame Street among other things.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it's kind of fun because when we sit, I love their stories.
Absolutely. That's awesome. Thank you guys so
Yes.
much. This has been so, enlightening and hilarious. And I just think you guys are amazing, and what you do is
thank
incredible.
you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, it's been fun.
For links to see more about our guests, go to our Instagram at The Last Looks Podcast or our website, thelastlookspodcast.com. If you want to keep up with new episodes being released, be sure to subscribe through Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon, Google Play, YouTube, or any podcast streaming platform. And remember, if you're enjoying the show, share it. The Last Looks Podcast would like to thank Brett Stanley and Sabrina Castro. The song Fun Time by DJ Quads. Thanks for listening. Until next time.
That's a wrap, people.